Summary: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Summary Division 2021. It often seems to us that wealth is the lot of special people, and not everyone is given to be successful and rich. We are not even trying to get out of the enchanted circle, in which there is no place for great achievements and wealth. Napoleon Hill's work, Think and Grow Rich, offers ways to deal with our fears, doubts, and disbelief in ourselves, which often prevent us from achieving happiness and recognition. Hill's book is a guide to achieving wealth and success. Its goal is to prove that anyone can master the necessary knowledge and skills to attract wealth. The book will give you the necessary impetus to finally get down to business and make your life successful yourself. Thanks to a clear plan of action, you will come to prosperity not only in business, but also in any other chosen field. The book will reveal the hidden potential you did not suspect before, and teach you how to effectively use external and internal resources. The ideas of the book will charge you with creative energy, inspire you to search for new solutions, and give you the tools to achieve your goals. Napoleon Hill helps not only to believe in yourself, but also to build a strategy correctly, to use your life experience and skills wisely. It will teach you to wish and act.
Luck comes one step before failure.
Thought is powerful. The first and important principle of achieving success is that only one profound idea is enough. Success is guaranteed for those who think in terms of success. Defeat comes to those who think in terms of defeat. The reason for failure is giving up at the first failure. Before you refuse, you need to make sure that everything that is possible has been done. It is important to know exactly what you want to achieve. Inspire your faith and persevere in others, and you will achieve the impossible. Everything that is desirable and imaginable is achievable. You need to think in terms of money. Then there will be concrete plans for their acquisition.
In addition to material benefits, Barnes received something else important: the confidence that an idea, if certain principles are observed, can be turned into material values. Edwin Barnes once discovered for himself the evidence of the statement, "If you want to become rich, think." Barnes went to it gradually, and the first step was a passionate desire to become a companion of the great Edison. He had practically nothing but a thirst to achieve the goal. Barnes started working for Edison for a minimum wage. His insistent desire and bulldog grip led to the fact that there was an opportunity that he had been waiting for. Edison needed to sell his new invention, the Edison dictating device, and Barnes did it. He sold the machine so soon that Edison signed a counterattack with him to distribute it throughout the country.
When desire becomes action. These principles formulate not only the essence of wealth. With their help, it is also possible to achieve any goal. 1. Determine the exact amount of money that you would like to have. Set a deadline and declare your desire, intention, and goal in writing. 2. Retire, close your eyes, and repeat the statement about your goals. Repeat the program in the morning and in the evening. 3. Honestly tell me what you are willing to pay for the wealth you want. 4. Make a concrete plan on paper and start acting immediately. Put a piece of paper with your intentions in a prominent place. Read your notes every day before going to bed. While reading, believe and feel that the money is already yours. Desire turns failure into victory. There are no obstacles to the mind, except those that we ourselves recognize.
Many years ago, a great commander faced a difficult task. He and his army needed to defeat a more powerful, larger enemy army. Then he loaded his soldiers onto ships and sent them to enemy lands. Upon arrival, he ordered his ships to be burned and addressed the soldiers. "Do you see the smoke from our ships? If we don't win, we won't be able to leave this place alive. We have only one choice, to win or to die." And they won.
Faith. Faith is a catalyst for mental abilities. All thoughts that can be felt begin to materialize immediately. The subconscious mind materializes constructive thoughts as successfully as destructive ones, and converts them into a material equivalent with the help of all available practical means. 5 stages of acquiring self-confidence. 1. The purpose of my life is clear to me, and I have the opportunities to achieve it. I demand perseverance from myself. I promise to do everything within my power. 2. Thoughts are the masters of my consciousness, and they reproduce themselves in an external act. Every day, 30 minutes a day, I will cultivate the kind of personality that I would like to see in my imagination. 3. Any desire ultimately receives practical means of implementation. I will devote 10 minutes a day to the task of self-affirmation. 4. I have formulated the main goal in life. I will never give up trying until I achieve the necessary self-confidence to achieve it. 5. Wealth and position in society cannot be built on self-interest and lies. I will use the creative forces that unite people in my desires.
Mahatma Gandhi showed the world a wonderful example of the possibilities and power of faith. Gandhi had no money, but he had the power that he created from understanding the principles of faith. Mahatma Gandhi managed to influence the minds of millions of people, help them to unite and act in unison as if it were a single consciousness. Thanks to this, the people of India achieved independence.
Autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the control center between conscious and subconscious thinking. It has to do with all kinds of suggestions and self-controlled arousal of consciousness through the senses. The recommendations formulated in Hill's work are tools for influencing your subconscious. Principles of autosuggestion. As spoken out loud important words for you, backed up by feeling and faith. Repeat, repeat, and repeat again. Constancy, perseverance, and effort. Together with autosuggestion, dominant thoughts penetrate into the subcortex and affect it. A person can voluntarily sow his subconscious field with the necessary thoughts.
A passionate desire for freedom brings freedom. The desire for wealth brings wealth. The basis of power is the power of the individual. Albert Hubbard, an American writer and philosopher, said, "It has always been a mystery to me why people spend so much time on self-deception, creating alibis to cover their weaknesses. This time would be just enough to correct the shortcomings, and an alibi would not be needed."
Knowledge. A person finds the knowledge he needs by himself. Knowledge cannot attract money to itself as long as it is not organized intelligently and is not aimed at accumulating wealth. It becomes an effective force only when it is processed into a clear plan and aimed at results. The essence of education is to develop the capabilities and abilities of a person. For success, it is necessary to acquire special knowledge in the field you have chosen. If the amount of knowledge is too huge and there is no way to assimilate it, you need to be able to gather a think tank around you, manage the group, and use it for your own purposes. The most important sources of knowledge: your life experience and education, communication with other smart people, universities, libraries. Knowledge itself has no value. Another thing is when they are used to achieve a specific goal. And for this, a practical action plan is needed.
During the First World War, a Chicago newspaper called Henry Ford an ignorant pacifist. Ford filed a lawsuit against the newspaper that slandered him. At the trial, Ford was asked a variety of questions, trying to show that Ford is only aware of the production of cars. Responding to a particularly offensive attack, Ford said, "If I really wanted to answer your stupid questions, then let me remind you. If I press the right button in my office, I will have specialists at my disposal who can answer any question. If you are considering getting additional education, first determine why you need it, and then look for opportunities."
Imagination. Your possibilities are hidden in your imagination. In this workshop, the plans and desires of a person are forged. A person is able to create everything that he is able to imagine. Functions of imagination. Synthetic imagination. A person puts already known ideas and ideas into new combinations. Creative imagination perceives and transforms basic or new ideas, comes into contact with the universal mind and the subconscious of other people. Imagination is another resource that can transfer a person from ordinary everyday thinking into a storehouse of ideas. Creative imagination can be developed and improved only in one way: to turn to it as often as possible. Imagination is closely related to the ability to hear your inner voice. The process of creation is preceded by the process of imagination.
Father Frank Gansols decided to organize his own educational institution, designed to implement his ideas about education. To do this, he needed $1 million. Where can I get it? This thought did not leave the young, determined priest for a long time. Anyone else in his place would have already given up. But Father Gansols did something else. He said to himself, "Stop dreaming. I'll have $1 million in a week." The very next morning, Father Gansols preached a sermon in the church on the topic, "What will I do if I have $1 million?" When he finished, a man came up to him and said that he believed in him and in his idea and was ready to give $1 million. With this money, the now famous Illinois Institute of Technology was founded. A successful person uses two gifts in his activity: analytical abilities and creative imagination. He skillfully combines them and overcomes the narrowness of everyday thinking.
Planning. An idea can be turned into wealth by the power of a specific intention and the presence of a specific plan. Take the right people as your allies. Create a think tank. Determine the benefits for each participant in your project. Use the experience, education, abilities, and imagination of other people for your own purposes. Remember, if the plan is not implemented, it is necessary to replace it with another one. The main thing is that the plan is real and viable. Your achievements depend on the depth and elaboration of your plan. You can start by selling your services or non-trivial ideas. All the huge fortunes began with this. You also need to decide whether your vocation is to manage or perform. It will depend on how you will develop professionally. Secrets of managing yourself and people. 1. Determination and courage. They are based on the knowledge of yourself and the work to which you have devoted your life. 2. Self-control. A person who controls himself knows how to control others. 3. A sense of justice. Such a leader is respected and trusted. 4. Clarity in decision-making. This demonstrates confidence and knowledge of what the manager is doing. 5. Clarity of plans. Painstaking work on the plan, a clear understanding of the goals and opportunities. 6. The attractiveness of the personality. Leadership requires respect for yourself and others. Take care of yourself and your reputation. 7. Empathy and understanding. A successful manager can always come to an agreement with his subordinates, is ready to cooperate, and is able to understand their problems. 8. Willingness to take full responsibility for yourself. The most common mistakes of a manager: inability to take into account all the details and inability to use the services of deputies. The expectation of remuneration, the inability to use their knowledge for the good of the cause. Fear of competition from performers. Lack of imagination, authoritarianism of management.
The American nation was born when 56 men of its think tank took the courage and honor to determine its fate. Their decision ensured the success of Washington's army and the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. Strength of spirit led the nation to freedom, as well as this desire, perseverance, faith, a think tank, and competent planning.
Work and success. The first step to achieving success is a good job that you want to do. How to find a job you like. 1. Determine what kind of occupation attracts you. If such a profession does not exist yet, what prevents you from creating it? 2. Choose the company or businessman you would like to work for. 3. Find out everything about the prospective employer, his affairs, personal qualities, and success in business. 4. Analyze your abilities and capabilities. Evaluate what you have to offer. Develop a plan and think about the means that will help you submit your proposals. 5. Focus on what you have to offer. 6. Write down all your thoughts and plans for work on paper. Think the plan over in detail. Offer it to an authoritative person in the company. Andrew Carnegie, a multimillionaire and philanthropist, emphasized that sales of personal services are based on one determining factor: the behavior or mood with which services are provided. First of all, Mr. Carnegie needed to make sure that he liked the person. He said that he would never take a person into the company who does not do his work with inspiration.
Lack of ambition, indifference to one's own fate, unwillingness to live another life, indifference to success.
Reasons for failures. The most common reasons for failures and lack of well-being. Thanks to them, you will be able to understand what stands between you and your success. You will know what to pay more attention to and how to turn weaknesses into strengths. 1. Bad heredity. A small and easily overcome disadvantage. If we feel, for example, low intelligence, we need to resort to the help of a team of thinking people. 2. Lack of clear goals in life. There are no aspirations, there is no hope for success. If you don't want anything, you won't get anything. 3. Gaps in education. This is overcome relatively easily by self-education. Knowledge is valuable when it can be applied to something. Self-discipline is reached through self-control. Do not defeat yourself. You will be defeated by yourself. 4. Lack of willpower. Lack of enthusiasm. 5. Diseases and ailments. Lack or overabundance of sex, lack of movement or poor physical fitness, lack of fresh air. To be successful, you need to be healthy, control your diet, be positive. 6. The addiction to procrastination. 7. Lack of perseverance in achieving the goal. 8. Repulsive character traits, anger, aggression, vanity, bad habits, and manners. 9. Uncertainty in decision-making, fear of the future. 10. Prejudices and prejudices, intolerance to other things. The successful person is free in thinking and judgments. Annual self-analysis will help to reduce the number of mistakes, increase dedication, and cultivate the necessary qualities. You will notice if there is any progress. Introspection will allow you to see whether you have progressed in your goals or have dropped several steps. If you want to succeed, you need to closely monitor your development, congratulate yourself on your achievements, and understand what you failed to do and why. Answer questions for self-analysis honestly and impartially. Have I achieved the goals I set for myself this year? Was my behavior with other people impeccable? Have I managed to improve my character? Never wait, start acting now. Use all means and opportunities. Was I persistent enough? Have I overcome my fears? How can I better calculate my time and change my habits? Have I corrected all my mistakes?
His incredible charm, ability to lead people, and willingness to take responsibility for himself allowed 38-year-old steel specialist Charles Schwab to enter the Society of New York Bankers and head the U.S. Steel Trust. Schwab managed to convince the business sharks of the success of the new business concept. Cheap steel will create a long-awaited market. There will be new areas of steel application, which will allow capturing a significant part of the world market. For a long time, Schwab was the manager of Bethlehem Shipbuilding and Steel Company, and under his leadership the company became the largest independent steel producer in the world. Perseverance requires courage, sometimes great. Indecision is a significant obstacle to success.
Perseverance, a state of consciousness. Perseverance will help you develop the ability to think in terms of money. Your subconscious mind will become a mint that prints money. Perseverance is based on certain principles: a clarity of intent, desire, self-confidence, certainty of plans, thorough analysis, cooperation, willpower, habit. 4 steps in the education of perseverance. 1. A clear goal. 2. A clear plan. 3. Independent consciousness, protected from external influences. 4. Friendship and cooperation with people who support you. Perseverance is a fortress that protects you from defeat. Wealth is obtained from a clear plan of action based on clear aspirations and implemented with the necessary perseverance.
American actress Mary Dressler was about 60 when theater producers blacklisted her. One day she found herself without money and without hope of any work. But perseverance and loyalty to the dream brought her a triumph. Dressler returned to the cinema, achieved huge success in comedies, won an Oscar, and became the first woman whose photo appeared on the cover of Time magazine.
The power of the mind. The power of the mind is manifested in the organized effort of 2 or more people united by a common goal and a single work plan and in organized, intellectually directed knowledge. Sources of knowledge. The higher mind is your creative imagination. Accumulated experience. Experiment and research. A mind is a form of spiritual energy. When the work of the 2 parts of intelligence is coordinated, their psychic energies interact and generate a new productive energy wave. The strength of a think tank is in the coordination of knowledge and efforts of several people. The principle of the think tank. With the harmonious interaction of intellects, a field of a new intellectual level is created. A person is able to perceive the character, skills, and power of thought of those with whom he cooperates. It is necessary to learn how to use the potential of the brain group most effectively. Do not let anyone into your affairs, except for your brain group, silence and restraint. No one will give up the prospect of becoming rich. Do not let them steal your ideas and plans.
Long before the author of the book, Napoleon Hill, wrote even one line, he developed the habit of taking care of himself. He made himself based on the biographies of those people who most impressed him. They were scientists, politicians, entrepreneurs, Darwin, Lincoln, Napoleon, Ford, Carnegie, etc. For many years he talked to them, called them invisible advisors. He closed his eyes and imagined himself sitting at the same table with them. Hill guided them, knew their characters, and how they think and act. he discussed all important matters with his invisible advisors. Gradually, he developed his mind and rebuilt his character, making it a synthesis of the characters of invisible advisors.
Sublimation. The path to genius lies through sexual development, which implies the correct use of sex, love, and hobbies and control over them. The secret of control is revealed in the field of sublimation. Destructive feelings can be transformed into positive ones by directing thoughts to something useful, creative. Sexual feelings bring to life a different state of consciousness. It turns to imagination, courage, the desire to have a goal. Sublimation is the transformation of sexual energy into some other kind of energy. The transformation of sexual energy into creative energy requires some effort of will and experience. Scientific research has proved that the greatest successes always indicate a highly developed sexual feeling. Our consciousness responds to stimuli that bring it to a high thought tension. A stimulus of consciousness is a temporary or permanent influence that increases the intensity of thought. For example, a passion, sexual desire; love, the desire for fame, power, financial success, money, and music; friendship, autosuggestion; fear.
Dr. Elmer Gates has made more than 200 discoveries in the field of self-improvement and the use of his creative gift. His laboratory was a very special place. Its walls were impenetrable, not a single ray of light penetrated there. There was only a desk with writing paper and a chair in the room. When the doctor needed a transformation of thoughts and inspiration, he would go into this room and concentrate his attention on his own inventions. Gradually, new ideas and inventions began to appear in his head. One day, 3 hours after a seclusion session, he found that he had described new scientific principles that have no analogs in the world.
The subconscious mind. The subconscious mind reacts primarily to dominant desires and emotions and acts through consciousness. The tools of the subconscious mind are your plans, desires, and intentions, and it is important to be able to use them. The subconscious mind is an intermediary between the human and the world mind. Human existence is surrounded by all kinds of thought impulses that come into contact with the subconscious. For conscious work with the subconscious mind, it is necessary to master its language, the language of feelings. Positive feelings, desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, sentimentality, hope. Negative feelings, fear, envy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, anger. Consciousness cannot be filled with positive and negative emotions at the same time. It is important to form the habit of perceiving and using only positive emotions.
You can find an intermediary who can convey your desires and aspirations in prayer. Often people underestimate the meaning of a sincere word. The energy of the entire universe will help honest and fiery words come true. During prayer, the consciousness is filled with a feeling that encourages the space around you act. The subconscious is like a radio. Send your signals and receive answers from the universe.
Fear. Fear, indecision, and doubts can hinder your success and the emergence of new ideas. Fear is only a state of consciousness. It can be controlled and directed. Everyone is able to fully control consciousness. Types of fears. Ask yourself questions and try to find out what you are. Form your thoughts consciously. Success will definitely come to you. A fear of poverty. It paralyzes the mind, destroys the imagination, and blurs goals. Self-analysis will help to cope with this fear. The symptoms of the fear of poverty are indifference, indecision, self-doubt, procrastination. Fear of criticism. Destroys the initiative. Symptoms: shyness, unbalance, weak character, inferiority complex, lack of initiative. A fear of illness, old age, and death. Symptoms: search for diseases, hypochondria, lethargy, impressionability, intemperance, anxiety. Fear of failure in love. The essence of fear is the fear of losing the object of love. Symptoms: jealousy, critical attitude to others, a tendency to risky enterprises. To resist fears, it is necessary to pacify the consciousness, master material goods, and find happiness. These external signs of success originate in thought impulses. Often a person is not familiar with his own fears. The feeling of fear is so subtle and deep that a person can live a life burdened with all kinds of fear without realizing them. Only courageous introspection will allow us to detect this enemy. Carefully look at your character.
Passers-by jeered when Henry Ford brought his first car to the streets of Boston. But Ford said, My goal is to encircle the globe with controlled cars. And he did it, despite the fears and risks, of which there were many.
Conclusion. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, sets the direction for achieving well-being. How to get rich? How to become a person who succeeds in everything. Everything is based on the principles of success. 1. Everything you want is achievable. Think in terms of money, then specific plans for its acquisition will immediately appear. If the plan is not implemented, it is necessary to replace it with another, real and viable one. 2. The 4 stages of achieving wealth. Determine the exact amount of money you would like to have. Repeat your goals and intentions out loud in the morning and evening. Think about what you are willing to pay for wealth. Make a concrete plan and start acting immediately. 3. Believe in yourself. Use self-suggestion to transform negative thoughts into constructive ones. Any desire ultimately receives practical means of implementation. Thoughts are the masters of consciousness. They reproduce themselves in an external act. A person can form his own subconscious by himself. 4. Find the knowledge you need. Process it and direct them to the result. Use the knowledge to achieve the goal and think over a plan of practical actions. 5. Imagination gives great opportunities. Your desires and plans are created in your imagination. Use this storehouse of ideas. 6. The idea turns into wealth by the presence of a specific plan. Attract the right people for your intentions. 7. An important step to achieving success is a good job. Look for a job that you like and do it with inspiration. 8. Analyze what stands between you and your success. How to overcome this difficulty. Annual self-analysis will help increase the effectiveness of actions and cultivate the necessary qualities. 9. Perseverance will come if you have a clear goal, a clear plan, and the support of the right people. 10. The think tank will help to coordinate knowledge and effectively use it in achieving wealth. 11. The transformation of destructive feelings into creative ones. This requires a certain amount of willpower and experience. 12. Work with the subconscious mind. It is important to form a habit and experience of using only positive emotions. 13. You can resist the overwhelming fears by controlling them and directing them in a positive direction. It is important to understand what you are struggling with and not to back down. Apply these principles in practice and remember that the passionate desire for wealth brings wealth. A strong person who is capable of achieving goals, has self-discipline, and knows how to follow a plan, will definitely achieve success, wealth, and recognition in any field. Summary: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Summary Division 2021.